That's the reason why people don't really want to vote for Harris, because men disrespect women.
Churro, be great every day. Tomorrow's never promised, so let's be ready for Judgment Day. Churro, this life we lead, be the best we can be for ourselves and family. Churro, be great every day. Tomorrow's never promised, so let's be ready for Judgment Day. King Churro, this life we lead, be the best we can be for ourselves and family. Yeah, your way don't ever leave this on the dream. Even the baddie you're respecting, and you're ever to sing. Oh, you ever do this like and you ever do the hate. Be the best we can be for ourselves and family. Be great every day. Tomorrow's never promised, so let's be ready for Judgment Day. This life we lead, be the best we can be for ourselves and family.
Hey y'all, the following video is of James Klug in downtown Las Vegas asking people whether they're going for Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. In this clip, you're gonna see he's an educator. His wife, I'm assuming, is also an educator, and it looks like they have a daughter who may be autistic, maybe Downs, I'm not sure exactly. Just watch the video.
The Biden administration inherited that border crisis. You remember the one that Trump said that he was going to build a big wall? I think he made it about 5 feet. Not just that, it was so garbage that I think I could have made it through that wall. All I had to do was just open the door.
The fake laughs. He looks very angry. You know, it's like, you can never advocate for Kamala Harris without being angry, because someone's asking you basic questions and telling you basic facts based on the Border Patrol when it comes to the border crisis.
But not just that. It was also done in a situation where they were advocating, not just advocating, but they also had a, what is that called? A bill that they were going to strengthen the border. And in fact, that bill didn't even come from them. Yeah. It came from Congress, and they were with the bill prepared to sign. They negotiated and everything else. And guess what? Donald Trump called up all his buddies and said, don't vote for it because I want them to seem like failures. Guess what?
Do you mind if I ask you?
They're not. They're not failures. And in fact, when Donald Trump
How did they inherit the border crisis, if you don't mind me asking?
Refused to put out that vaccine for the coronavirus and kill some 658,000 people. My friends that I went to college with also included. When that happened, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris came in office and put that vaccine out. So let's stop playing. This is not a game, and guess what? This is about lives.
Do you mind if I touch on the border crisis, though?
You tried, and I got it.
No. But how did they inherit it? Yeah, how did they inherit it?
They inherited it because
the border crisis.
How long have people been coming across the border?
Let's answer a question with a question so we could deflect.
But under Trump's administration, they were seeing a 50-year low of border crossings. It then jumped to 8 times as much. So that's a lie?
Yeah.
Why is that a lie?
Let me finish.
Flat out lie. I'm sorry.
It's actually not a lie. That's a fact.
Let's just be clear.
Your facts are lies.
During the Trump administration.
You know where I got that fact from?
That's the reason why people don't really want to vote for Harris, because men disrespect women.
And it seems like your husband is very disrespectful to you. It seems like you're just a follower, and your husband's going to tell you exactly what to think, just like he probably tells all his students what to think. But he's so angry and so involved with being an advocate for Kamala Harris that he just can't look and see another side. He just has so much hate going on. You know, from the same guy who says,
well, number one, she talks about what we've lived. I'm an educator some 40 years, and what we've lived is lifting people up, not tearing them down. And he seems to specialize in that, tearing people down. And I am the absolute opposite. and he epitomizes everything that I've stood against and everything that I've trained and worked with my students to do. And that is to lift up one another and to achieve greatness and great heights, and be told that they can always do well and do the best and do the best and be the best.
He just has so much hate, you know. And for what? He's not getting paid by Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. He doesn't care about the betterment of America. He just cares about, he doesn't like Donald Trump. And so he's going to find every single thing of what he doesn't like about Donald Trump, and that's his argument as his support for Kamala Harris. There's never any substantial anything that he's pulling out from Kamala Harris. You ask them, 3.5, almost 4 years she's been in office. What has she done? What's her greatest accomplishment?
And you guys, she's obviously been heavily involved in the Biden administration. What was your favorite accomplishment of hers as Vice President of the United States?
As Vice President of the United States, she was bold enough to go to the border and tell people to stay home.
To folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border, do not come. Do not come. The United States will continue to enforce our laws and secure our border. There are legal methods by which migration can and should occur. But we, as one of our priorities, will discourage illegal migration.
People forget that. and in fact, more so, there are a lot of people who are misinformed, and there's a lot of misinformation going around. And so let's set the record straight, if I may. And that is, Trump didn't give you a dime, people. That was the Joe Biden, Kamala Harris administration that gave you $2,300 and $1,500. No one else. Stop playing. This is not a game.
Hey, I got a question for you. When it comes to the border, Kamala Harris overlooking the border, telling them not to come, that is seemingly more of a sore subject when it comes to this administration. Worst border crisis in American history. And when she visited the border, she didn't visit the spot where the border crisis was happening. What are your thoughts about that? Is that something to tout for this for Kamala Harris when this is the worst border crisis in American history that we've seen under this administration? What do you think?
Wow, and more misinformation. And from you. That's funny.
Wait,
let's make it clear.
Yeah.
All right.
Clarify.
Just so you understand.
I don't think that was misinformation.
The Biden, it is.
And they can never tell you what it is.
In office the last 3.5 years, what was your favorite accomplishment of hers? She's been very heavily involved in the administration. What would you say is just your favorite?
I think she's just the right person to become, the next president. Because she's looking out for us, for the middle class people.
She ain't done shit.
And also, what else are you going to do to fix this problem with inflation?
All right, thank you. Well, let's start with this. Prices have gone up.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
And families and individuals are dealing with the realities of that bread costs more, that gas costs more. And we have to understand what that means. That's about the cost of living going up.
Holy fucking shit.
That's about having to stress and stretch limited resources. That's about a source of stress for families that is not only economic, but is on a daily level, something that is a heavy weight to carry. So it is something that we take very seriously. Very seriously. And we know from the history of this issue in the United States that when you see these prices go up, it has a direct impact on the quality of life for all people in our country. So it's a big issue, and we take it seriously.
The question is, are we better off today than we was 3.5 years ago?
My passion, one of them, is small businesses. My mother raised my sister and me, but there was a woman who helped raise us. We call her our second mother. She was a small business owner.
What the? Think about what she said. One of my passions are small businesses. I don't even know what that means. One of my passions is small businesses. And I knew somebody that my mother knew that was a friend of my mother that had a small business. So you know somebody that knows somebody that had a small business, but you never opened up a small business yourself, but your passion is small business and you can imagine a better way forward. What are we talking about?
I feel like only in America can you need medical assistance that you can't afford to get. And in order to get government help, you have to make under a certain amount. So if you're someone who's makes $60,000 a year, you don't qualify for any fucking help, but you can't actually afford to get your child the services that they fucking need. But if I quit my job and I go work for McDonald's, I can live off the government and then she can have the help that she needs. Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
Yeah, so we're talking to people, actually, I mean, I've never been in Atlanta. We're talking to voters. Obviously, it's a crucial swing state. He's voting for Trump. I'm undecided at the moment. And then we're trying to figure out where people are leaning. So why are you voting for Kamala?
I'm sorry, I literally can't understand how you could be undecided. This man tried to start a freaking war with Canada.
With Canada? Excuse me, you and your big dog, Donald Trump or Kamala Harris?
Kamala Harris.
Why Kamala Harris?
Oh gosh. Because I believe in the equal rights of all people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is she standing for that Trump's not standing for when it comes to equal rights for all people?
Yeah, so I am a nurse, actually. Yeah. And so I've worked in the emergency department for 5 years. And I think just the stance on abortion and everything. He wants to institute a national abortion ban.
Not true.
Yes, it is. And also they're pulling back.
Show me where he said that.
Girl,
Again,
I am not talking to you, I am talking to him.
You're talking to both of us.
Well, then,
well, no, you're fine. Well, do you mind elaborating on those? The Canadian war?
It's scary as a woman to think you could be in a situation where you know a pregnancy is not viable. You know a pregnancy is a danger to you, in conjunction with being non-viable, and you don't have a choice until it's too late or almost too late.
Right. When it comes to that, I mean, that's obviously an incredibly common position with many voters that are voting Democrat. I'm more Trump.
Okay.
But my response to that would probably just be, Trump's position and his administration's position has always been bring it back to the states. Do you not believe in, states' rights when it comes to people locally voting on what policies they want in their individual states? Do you not believe in people voting on that on a local level? And do you believe in just making that a federal kind of thing? You see what I'm saying?
I absolutely see what you're saying. And
is there something wrong with bringing it to the states?
I think so. When you're talking about the risk of a woman's life, I mean, that should be federal. I mean, that should be...
Yeah, but okay, so you're talking about a non-viable pregnancy.
Yeah.
And they're forced to carry that. Where is that happening?
In Georgia, actually, a woman died recently.
You're talking about the abortion pill one with the twins, is that correct? You're talking about Thurman, is that correct?
Yeah.
By the way, for everyone in the camera, we're getting dragged around by her big pup, which he seems like a very good boy, for starters. So we'll break the ice there. But that's Amber Thurman. she died because she took an abortion pill with twins. There was an infection, and she died because of that. So that's actually, look, I'm not trying to dunk on you here, right? I want to make sure I'm being as honest as possible. I can criticize Trump or criticize Kamala, but we want to make sure it's factual.
Yeah.
That is not because she couldn't get access to an abortion.
Right. Okay.
Did you know that, what I'm saying?
Honestly, no. So you're saying she took...
An abortion pill. She literally died because she took an abortion pill.
Okay, that's a stretch. So
That's what the lawsuit and everything said. Basically, she went into septic shock because the abortion pill had complications. Hospital personally mishandled it, but it had nothing to do with pro-life laws or not. It's, medical malpractice. Sometimes people go to the emergency room and the doctors screw it up. But it wasn't because she was carrying and she had complications and they wouldn't get rid of the baby or whatever. It was because she took the abortion pill that gave her the septic shock. So I understand your position, but in this case, that doesn't have to do with lack of access to abortion, which in Georgia, it is in every state that has more pro-life legislation. It is legal to terminate a pregnancy.
They're gonna pull out all the lies, pull out everything they can.
Think about you, it's us. He's not going to, say, oh, you're with a white guy, I'm going to keep you from being deported. No, he's going to deport you and put the white guy with someone else. The man is out there.
Former President Donald Trump is escalating his violent rhetoric, suggesting one of his most prominent critics, the former Congresswoman Liz Cheney, should be fired upon.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. What he said was that war-hungry politicians would not be so eager to fling our troops into harm's way if they actually had to go themselves, which is 100% grade A true. And as a military wife, it pisses me off to no end that we have a media that are more concerned with pretending that Trump called for executing somebody via firing squad, which he did not do, than they care about the military, who get flung all over the world by a bunch of people who, by and large, sit around in their suits and their shiny loafers giving speeches at $10,000 a plate dinners in between setting piles of our money on fire. It pisses me off that we have a media that spends more time trying to claim that Trump said something that he did not say than they do demanding answers for where the billions of our tax dollars are going, or talking about how the Biden administration sent $16 billion to Iran. 13 service members died under Biden's watch because he screwed up Afghanistan so bad, and the media want us to pretend that didn't happen. So yeah, it is easy for politicians to send our soldiers and our sailors and our airmen into war when they have never gone themselves. But I guess taking down Trump with lies and deceptively edited clips matters more than talking about that.
Because they don't like his ego and they don't like his narcissism, so on and so forth. They don't like his personality. They're not going to tell you why they don't like him as president. They're going to tell you why they don't like his personality.
Ma'am, I'm just trying to get one point out.
Yeah, okay.
That's what.
He
that's
walked
it.
away.
Yeah.
I can give a fuck about personality. I can give a fuck about that shit. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I already know who I'm voting for. It's your boy King Churro. Thank you for watching. Remember that you're loved, and remember to be great every day, because tomorrow is never promised. Peace out, y'all.
Every day you wake up, you got a decision to make. To go right or left, up or down, right or wrong. At the end of the day, you make the decision. Nobody forces you. So make the right decision. Make moves, set the goal. Stop making excuses, man. And if it look like a duck, walk like a duck, and sound like a duck, it's a duck. Stop guessing. Just do the right thing. You heard? You hear me? I love y'all. Stay positive. Love one another.
All right.
You lost. Stupid asshole. That's what you get, bro. All that hate. All that hate. All that hate. All that hate.
Shouldn't we be raising wages for the American people and not importing cheap foreign labor?
Under the Biden-Harris, wages have been raised. Yeah. Under the Biden and Harris administration, wages have been raised.
Real wages are down under this administration.
But it hasn't. All statewide, their wages are down. And you know who pays?
Do you mind if I
People
ask?
like you and me.
Yes.
We pay for it.
Yeah.
So
do you mind if I ask?
The government doesn't have anything to do with raising the wages. They pass it on to us, just like PG&E, energy people. Whenever there's a disaster or problem, we have to pay, which is the reason why we need to be taken care of, which is what Harris is going to do. Take care of the middle class people.
You're making a great argument to not import cheap labor.
The world.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
You're making a wonderful argument to not import millions of people for cheap labor.
Well, you know what?
You see what I'm saying?
They're not just coming from Mexico.
It looks like we have a genius on our hands.
This is where coyotes and smugglers come and they bring in all the migrants to cross into the U.S. And overlooking it, we have some of the wealthiest homes in Tijuana. And so here, where they're building this border wall and replacing it, you still have this major hole down here where people are able to come and go across into the U.S. And it's costly. It costs anywhere between $5,000 and $20,000 to make this trip.
Are we talking about Mexican migrants? What kind of people are we talking about?
I'm along the U.S.-Mexico perimeter in Tijuana, and here is where some believe the story of black migrants begins as a pursuit of entry into the United States.
Black migrants. Can we be more specific, please?
But the reality is, for many black migrants here in Mexico, this is where they believe their quest for the so-called American dream is most likely to succeed.
The American dream or the Mexican dream? And again, black migrants, where do they originate from?
Y yo creía que mi bienestar será en Estados Unidos hasta que llego en Tijuana y yo decidí que yo encontré el bienestar aquí y me quedé.
Isn't it crazy how it's so easy to learn Spanish, but you won't assimilate and learn English?
This is despite the unique challenges black migrants face in Latin America.
We are told there's no racism in Mexico.
It's a fucking lie, because Mexicans are racist against their own people. The light-skinned European-looking ones don't like the dark-skinned indigenous-looking ones.
However, every single day, people are being killed. The realities of black migrants is different than most, if not all, because of their skin. When it comes to other migrants, they might pass for Mexican. But when you're black, the moment you show up, they know you're a migrant. They know you're an asylum seeker.
No shit.
So therefore you are targeted.
Because the United States has outsourced enforcement of its own immigration policies to Mexico, the lives of Haitian migrants south of the U.S. border are impacted in multiple ways. This is the story of what it's like to be a Haitian migrant in Mexico.
4 Mexican guys came and jumped this one guy.
For Haitian migrants able to flee the unraveling of their nation,
they would have to swim about 3,000 miles from Port-au-Prince to Tijuana. How the fuck did they get there?
What I'm saying is there are a lot of people coming all over. I'm not saying import them, but I'm saying, yes, they come over, but people are coming over from all over the world.
That's right.
And yet, they're utilizing them.
From Haiti. We came to America 6 months ago, and we already have American citizenship. We're voting Kamala Harris. Yesterday we voted in Gwinnett County, and today we're voting in Fulton County. We have all our documents, driver's license. We invite all Haitians to come to America and bring families.
I'm not gonna say anything.